Waalaikumsalam, Doktor.
Morning.
Good morning, doctor.
Morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so today is Wednesday. For this week, complete the class. After this, we complete class for 4 weeks lah. And we are in chapter 3 on the cost estimation. Then there are some other things I would like to not remind, but to explain on your, especially on your project, group project. So hopefully by today, all of you have your own group. You have joined. For those who are not having any group, I think from my, I think so, there all of you have your own group already. And so then you can proceed with the following activities, right? Which is the report, especially. As I mentioned before, your group project is not about programming. It's not about the prototype in terms of testing, but it is on the project management planning. So we go through, I believe also you have done your exercise and attending courses related to requirement on the system analysis and design, right? That those are the courses that you need to recap back. You have to apply what you have gained in the in other subject, and also will be included in this software project management in this course. Basically, the information, all those initially you can use any documents like SRS, SDD that you have before if it's related to this course. It doesn't mean that you don't have to use those documents, but actually we are encouraging you to use the previous document, but you need to modify based on what we required in this subject, in this course. So meaning that all those courses actually is not isolated from one to each other. It's related. Okay. So throughout from first semester until the end of your study later, actually all those is a combination, or is all is about software engineering. Okay, including database, testing, okay, architecture, everything. Right, we have 26 now. Okay, dah makan? If you have your breakfast already? Belum. Tengok je lah saya minum kopi. Baru nak minum ni. Kopi panas. Okay, kalau while ongoing class, you can still have your breakfast lah. Kan, online ni, that is one of the flexibility lah. Kalau dalam kelas, face to face is a bit difficult kan. Okay, but yalah, minum pun okay. If you want to have your breakfast, makan anything, nasi lemak, okay, boleh je. Right. Okay, can I start now? So for this morning, what I want to cover is still on the project, cost estimation, and it's on chapter 3. And for this particular chapter, okay, we've gone through already on the planning and scheduling. So for those are still maybe some of the part that you are not understand in terms of, especially on the forward pass and backward pass, you can ask me later. Okay, as I mentioned before, we are going to have an assignment for that. Okay, that will be your individual assignment. Okay, I belum upload lagi later. I will remind you when is the assignment I will blast in I will upload in Putra Blast, and it will give you some limitation in terms of time. So usually assignment we are giving you like a week or maybe more than 1 week. But for this kind of assignment, because we are considering in terms of online limitation in certain way of us to give you some uh, give you some variety of questions on the assignment. So what I'm deciding, they're actually slightly different between group 1, group 2, and 3, which is for we have flexibility in terms of to decide what are the question. Okay, type of question maybe it will be similar, but in terms of we can create our own question. I mean, the lecturer can create our own question. So if you ask your friend like Dr. Safarina, of course it will be different. You don't have to ask that, right? For other groups. Okay. So for my class, I'm I'm decided to have the question on based on the exercise, and I already mentioned before, based on the exercise. Question number 3, right? But I will modify a bit on that. Okay, so you can do exercise on question number 3, and the exercise, is it possible I'm giving to you on Friday assignment, because I'm giving you like in the morning from 8 to 7, for example, 7 p.m. So the whole day you can answer the question and upload to me. Is it possible, class?
Possible.
Friday, you have class on Friday?
Yes, I
I
have.
mean,
Yes, doctor,
yeah,
I have class.
how many hours?
2 hours.
Okay, so I think if I give you from 8 a.m. in the morning until 8 lah, okay, 12 hours, okay, 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. So you have flexibility when you want to answer and you upload. That is your limitation. Okay, your time frame lah. I mean the whole day you have, and then just upload your answer. Okay, is it alright?
Mm, Yes, doctor, I think so.
So from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. Friday, yeah. So that will be your assignment 1 on the project planning and scheduling, yeah. Right. So I want to haven't upload yet. Chapter 3. Sorry. So I haven't give me some time, yeah, class. I need to upload your chapter 3 lesson. So what I'm doing now, actually the interface is the same with yours. Of course, no, right? Sama tak? This is our interface. So like activity or resources, like here we have flexibility, what kind of things we should, just to share with you lah, since I'm doing this now. Okay. Maybe you can look in terms of what we say user interface, the difference between among the users itself. Okay, so now I'm adding a file. So so we have to put in the names what that one. Okay, see. So what's the file? can upload, we choose file here. Okay, so I have to go one step. So this is okay, I pick up the file. So the pre-posting. Okay, so upload the file. So this is our user interface lah for the lecturers. Okay, we can also do other setting here. Appearance, all this is actually under setting for like if you want to set the exam, so can put in the time frame from when to when and other things lah. Okay, so now this is chapter 3 done already. Okay, so this is turn editing on and off. Right, so chapter 3 is here, so you can view now. Okay, in your in your interface, also in your Travelers also is there. Right. Okay. Right. So on cost estimation, why accurate cost estimation is important? Accurate is the one like, let's say, usually the accuracy comes when it's already done, right? Meaning that at the end of the project, okay, your estimation is for example 100,000, as I explained before. But at the end of the project, possibly the amount will be slightly lesser or can be higher. Okay, and in that case, okay, it's possible, and also many of the project, if they having certain problem, they fail to comply with the budget, then possibly it will be more higher than that lah, 100,000 for example. So in that case, okay, at early of the project, of course, what we can do is do the estimation. Okay, estimation, which is a sort of prediction, right? Prediction, we predict, okay, and or estimate. Okay, this particular project is 100,000. Okay, it doesn't mean that okay, just simply spell out okay 100,000, but what is the basis uh, can be uh, can be identified, okay, or can be justified. What is your justification in terms of criteria, or even you have your own estimation, way of estimating, and all those are uh, possible. Meaning that it doesn't mean that okay, you don't have the model, then your estimation is not good. But in a certain way, experienced developer, usually they already go through experiencing on development, software development, and from there, they know actually the scenario, what are the situation, or even in terms of what are the aspect that usually give impact in terms of project costing. Okay, in terms of that, experience based also can be one of it. Okay, instead of you using a model with calculation, in terms of do the estimation. Okay, so important here is that one of the success criteria, if you still remember the triple triangle, and also in terms of aspect or criteria that give impact on the project success. Okay, so costing is one of it. Okay, like if the cost for that particular project is more than 100,000, based then before the estimation is 100,000, is considered it's not that success, right? Because you have to pay more, right? You have to pay more, and from there, okay, how the prediction they made possibly is not that correct. It's not that accurate. It's not that accurate. Okay, so that is very important. And as a developer, Okay, if you go back to your customer, said that, oh, this project actually we have to get more money from the customer, for example, we need more money because it's not because we have to invest, or we have to buy the technology, for example, we have to pay for extra workers, so then it will give some perception lah, perception from the customer view. Okay, so it's not good for the business. Right, in a way of doing the estimation, okay, is involved the determination of one or more of the following estimates. Okay, we can estimate from the effort, which is effort from the person here, the labor, means the person who involved in the project. Okay, and project duration in terms of the scheduling lah, then the time, and also in cost. Okay, so all these three actually give certain indication, okay, for the cost estimation. Usually most people concerned about cost lah, in dollar, right, or in ringgit. Okay, in a way of that usually represent, if you say the project cost is 100,000, so people know, okay, it's a big project or it's a small. It's up to them lah to give some interpretation on that. But usually people are using in dollar. I mean in monetary value. Okay, in monetary value, the cost. Effort and project duration. If you go through later in this chapter, also is very important, because some model that we possibly use, it will give interpretation in terms of effort. Okay, effort in terms of how many people it should involve, for example 10, 5. Usually when they have the model, also we can predict or we can estimate, okay, how many people needed for that particular project, okay, by giving certain value for the evaluation criteria, and from there have to result in terms of how much effort need to be allocated. Project duration, also using certain models, we can predict, okay, how long, okay, not model lah, even like on planning and scheduling, okay, in your chapter 2, we can predict how long the project should be allocated based on the list of activity, duration, and dependencies, right? Okay, that also can be to predict on the project duration. So estimation here, okay, resources including the people, right? Resources also including the technology. Resources also can be in terms of space, and all those resources lah, yeah, which is those resources are important for the project. Okay, and resources also can be a tool. Okay, you use certain tools for development, and it also be part of the technology and under technology. Okay, so all those involve a cost. Okay, involve the money, and how much should involve. Then it comes from all those prediction lah. Okay, schedule as well. So in terms of that, to estimate resource, cost, and schedule, okay, requires experience. Okay, um, as I said, when we are talking about in terms of software engineering, as well other things lah. Okay, experience is vital. It's very important, right? Okay, because experience here can be very broad, and let's say if you go for advertisement, right, and some company, they will give salary based on experience, although you have your certificate, okay, but in certain way they also giving you some slightly difference in terms of salary, because the difference be possibly because of experience. Okay, it doesn't mean that no experience they didn't hire, but usually also they will take new fresh graduates, because they want to groom them, they want to give them knowledge, and from there you get the experience. Okay, so experience here usually in the project. I didn't usually lah the company they will have a mix lah, mix a new fresh graduates and then they mix with other senior developers so that from there the fresh graduate can learn something from based on the experience from the seniors. Okay, the information also can be from other information, other historical information. So this is like on the second point here, access to good historical information. This one uh, like in terms of yang kita panggil what we call as archive documents can be as well. For example, that company already involved in the development for 10 years, and from there possibly they have record some information related on that particular other project, but possibly it can be used for a new project which is similar, like in similar domains but different organization as well. Okay, so accessibility here possibly is good, however some company they in terms of certain company they are poor in terms of the archive document or other document about the documentation, they are very poor, so meaning that no available information about other project. Okay, it's possible that kind of things lah. But hopefully if a good company, I mean in terms of documentation, they have very dedicated database for that, so it will be very good. The courage to commit to quantitative prediction when qualitative information is all that exists. Okay, what is qualitative and quantitative class? Okay, qualitative is more something which is uh, sometimes it's not in terms of quantifiable. Means that let's say I have in terms of qualitative is something is not quantifiable. For example, effort. Okay, if you want to relate with this one, of course, effort is something is not quantifiable. For example, I'm contributing my work, okay, in particular project. Okay, so of course effort here, but something we need also to quantify in certain way, certain indicators. Okay, so in the way of to make it quantifiable, we use certain measures or metrics to do the calculation, to do the estimation. Okay, so in this case, effort based on the person and how long they contribute certain work. Right? Is there someone try to join the class? Huh? Okay. So in case of qualitative here, like qualitative study, right? It's still on the qualitative study, but in the way of how they use certain measurements, indirect measurements to measure something. Okay, and it's a bit, it's not that difficult because in a way of justifying in terms of the study and everything lah. Okay, but on the quantitative prediction is very straightforward, right? So let's say in terms of monetary value, you can specify in money, in terms of certain figures, right? In terms of number of people, it's very straightforward, right? So in terms of that, in terms of qualitative there, we need to have some indicators, some metrics, some measures to help you to do some estimation. Okay, then estimation itself is very, although it's very important, but it carries inherent risk, and this risk leads to uncertainty. Of course, okay, we do the prediction, but those prediction based on current estimation. Okay, and bear in mind that the factors that involve on the project costing, uh, it's possibly change during the project progress. Okay, so that comes the uncertainty. On the talking about risk here, we are going to cover that in chapter 4 later. Okay. So on project estimation, project scope must be understood. Okay, let's say you hear developer, developer have a tender, a project, okay, from a company. Okay, of course they need to understand the scope. Okay, what are the customer expectation in, of course, in general first lah, meaning that they specify already what are the systems supposed to do, okay, at early of the project before starting the project. The scoping here, understandable, not only of course the developer, but hopefully, okay, hopefully there are missing information or misunderstood. We don't want that kind of things. Okay, misunderstood. Okay, elaboration is necessary. In certain situation, maybe developer negotiate with the customer before the project start, yeah, in a way of to understand better what are the customer expectation. Okay. Historical metrics are very helpful. Just now, right? You can refer to previous project. You can refer to other project which is more or less similar. Okay, and in a way of to help you to justify in terms of that. However, certain metrics possibly is not that accurate. For example, like technology, right? Technology change, and possibly also it will affect in terms of the budget. Okay, technology. Considering, for example, customer wants the new technology. Okay, then technology possibly much higher than the old one. Okay, like uh, they're expecting to migrate from a new technology or new platform, then the developer have to consider that in terms of to get some figure lah, on that particular platform or technology, how much it costs. At least two different techniques should be used. Okay, for this fourth items here, number 4 here, at least two different techniques should be used. Different techniques, you will know later like what is the techniques, okay, that can assist you as to predict on the costing. Okay, to predict on the costing. Why we use to at least two different techniques? Because from there, if you use one technique, that is the result that you get. Okay, but if you use more, okay, possibly you can do the comparison, because the technique itself have apa tu dia punya, have their own way of calculation, way of estimation. Okay, so let's say you use experience based, for example, based on the senior experience, and then from there they make the prediction. Okay, even for the seniors, maybe you have 2 or 3 seniors, you can, their own, they can make the prediction. Okay, okay, let's say you have 3 prediction based on 3 seniors developer. Okay, that is on the experience base. And sorry, you may also use, for example, one technique, for example, Kokomo 2. Okay, Kokomo 2 based on the calculation formulas, and you get another figure. Okay, and from there comparison can be made, so it's better. Okay, If you use only Kokomo, of course, Kokomo have their own criteria on the evaluation for the estimation, but in certain criteria, possibly from there, apa tu, a senior developer can do some adjustment from them based on their own scenario or their experience, the current one possible, right? So in terms of that, okay, in later in your assignment lah, because in chapter 3 will be your second assignment, okay, individual second assignment. Okay, you can use two prediction based on two models or techniques, and from there you can do some, and then it's up to you. Okay, prediction based on the technique here to guide you better, right? To guide you better on the calculation, on the estimation, however you decide. Okay, either you want to use exactly the amount that being stated or the result from the calculation, or you can do some modification. Okay, you have flexibility. It doesn't mean that there is a figure, there is a one. Okay. Okay, uncertainty, of course, uncertainty because we do prediction. Okay, estimation. Okay, later we look on that. What are the uncertainty that is will exist later. Okay, what are the things? Okay, possibly can change later. Okay, cost estimation technique. On that part, past or similar project experience can be also used. As I mentioned just now, senior program, senior developer, all that will be on the project experience. Okay, past project experience. Also can use conventional estimation technique. This one, conventional because we refer to the development models, software development models. Okay, let's say waterfall, that will be more in terms of sequential activities and other development models. Okay, and that will be under conventional estimation technique. For example, task breakdown and effort estimation, and also based on the function point. FP is function point. Okay, we look later in detail. We can also use empirical models, for example, Kokomo, which is that conventional and empirical model. They use formulas for the calculation based on the estimated value. Okay, based on the estimated value, which are very it will guide in terms of the calculation. The formulas we look in detail later, have certain specification, and from there, okay, you give some values on the estimation. Some of the models, they will have different formulas. That's what you have to understand later. Okay, in terms of formulas. Okay, so, those formulas have in a way of okay, let me in terms of the formula itself, it comes from the of course from the researcher or the company that already experience in terms of um, on doing the project, okay, software development project. So those formulas, how they derive the formulas, actually based on the best practice. Best practice in the way of they have gone through many projects, and from there they studied in terms of the costing, and all those costing they understand in terms of how does it affect in terms of the project. Okay, and of course lah, that come from the research lah. They study all those and then come up with the formulas. So it based on the many projects, and then from there they come up with those formulas lah. Okay. Including the empirical models, the Kokomo. Okay. Later maybe you can I will explain in terms of how they derive the Kokomo, for example. Last one, there, automated tools. Of course lah. The shortcut is that as a developer, you can use the tools. Right? Later in your group project also will ask you to find the tools. and use the tools, because that is part in terms of as a user, right? But as well, we cover in terms of for the class to understand about the calculation as well. So the automated tool are available lah in the market that can be licensed. You have to pay before you use, or you may use for now lah, you can use the trial version. Okay, but there are also tools which are available. It's open source. Okay, it's free. Then you can use that one. Okay, so it's up to you later which one you want to select lah. Okay, so for now, if you have time, search for the tool, and then that tool will use for your project to do the estimation. Okay. So cost estimation technique. 9:42 kelas. Nice slide. Ada soalan? Cepatlah pula rasanya. 1 hour. Ada soalan?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Ada soalan. Okay, on the technique, this is the available techniques. This is this is under, okay, I go back first to mention to you that cost estimation technique under non-algorithmic approach and algorithmic approach. Non-algorithmic approach is this one. Okay, this is non-algorithmic approach, which is without any formulas or calculation, just do estimation very roughly. Okay, roughly. Okay, cost estimation technique. This is under non-algorithmic. So algorithmic, which is that is a model based on historical. That is only one under algorithmic. The rest, okay, last 4 is under non-algorithmic. Okay, algorithmic later we go in detail. Okay, for now, for the algorithmic, expert judgment, estimation by analogy, Parkinson law, pricing doing is under non-algorithmic. Okay, I go for the non-algorithmic first. So several expert judgment. Okay, several experts on the proposed software development techniques and the application domain are consulted. Okay, I give example just now. If I have 3 seniors developer, maybe from then they will give their estimation. Okay, that will be under expert judgment. Okay, so possibly these 3 senior developer, they have their own experience lah with different project others. Okay, they possibly some let's say expert here, let's say 10 years experience. Okay, another one maybe 12 experience, and another one maybe more than that. Okay, so this expert you consider to give their own estimation how much the project can is cost. Okay, so they each estimate the project cost. These estimate are compared and discussed. So maybe among those 3 expert or senior developer, they will discuss, and possibly at the end of the session they have one consensus or agreed amount how much the project they estimated, okay, for that particular project. Okay, so the estimation process iterates until an agreed estimate is reached. Maybe from the meeting, from there they come up with one figure how much they should allocate for that project. Okay, that is under expert judgment. Estimation by analogy applicable when other projects in the same application domain have been completed. Okay, let's say the company already concentrate for this particular domain of expertise for several years or for many years. Okay, so they possibly have figured out, okay, in terms of the cost estimation for that similar domain, okay, or application. Okay, so new project is estimated by analogy with this completed project. Okay, let's say 10 years too, they already understand the scenario of that project with that similar application in the same domain. Okay, that is you can refer to Myers lah. Myers is one of the authors lah dalam software project management. Give a very clear description on approach. Tak apalah kalau you tak nak study, kalau you interested, you can refer to that later. Okay, Parkinson law states that work expand to fill the time available. The cost is determined by available resources rather than by objective estimate. So yang Parkinson law, they mainly focus to determine the available resources. For example, in the company, um, um, the company involved in several projects. For example, they have several clients, kan? And there are several projects. Okay, and in certain way, they have certain limitation in terms of the developer available during that time. For example. Okay, possibly they have 20 workers, 20 developers, but some of the developers are already committed to several projects. And then from there, okay, who are still available to contribute in terms of development. Let's say the company have one new project. Okay, so in a way of that, they concern in terms of resources available. Okay, for this example, if the software has to be delivered in 12 months and 5 people are available, if there is only 5 people available, still available for the project, okay, then okay, considering in terms of time, duration 12 months, okay, the effort required is estimated into 60% month. Okay, how you want to calculate on the effort later. Okay, but in here, what we want to highlight is that Parkinson law, they are considering in terms of the available resources in terms of the time frame and also human. Okay, how many people available. Pricing to win, this one I already several times, okay, during the lecture. Pricing to win, like a tendering, okay, bidding for the tendering, that kind of way. Meanings on pricing to win, developer usually have strict allocation of money for the project. Okay, let's say customer already decide 100,000 for this particular project. So in a way of developer should decide lah, is it worth to, based on the criteria or the expectation from the customer, is it worth to get 100,000 for this particular project? So it's up to the developer lah to decide, okay, because they are considering not only on the costing but also on the profit side, as I mentioned before. So the software cost is estimated to be whatever the customer has available to spend on the project. Okay, customer dah decide dah. Customer already decide how much the project. Okay, so it's up developer. Okay, on or not. Okay, means that they are willing to accept the project or willing to bid for the project or not. Okay, the estimated effort depends on the customer budget and not on the software functionality. Of course, the developer side in terms of the functionality, what is supposed to be, what are the functionality on the system based on the mentioned criteria by the customer. Okay, so we have non-functional requirement, non-algorithmic estimation is 4. Okay, so now what is algorithmic cost modeling? Okay, this is under algorithmic. Okay, but I'm not going to cover now. It's already almost 10. You have class? Ada kelas lepas ni?
Ada.
Yes.
Ada. Okay.
Yes, doctor.
Right. So for this week, class, what you have to do is the exercise lah. If you still some of the part in scheduling especially on the network diagram, you still not understand or having difficulty on that, you can ask me later before Friday lah. Tomorrow is Thursday lah, today Wednesday. Before your apa tu, your assignment on Friday. So for now, tak sempat pula nak explain on the project. For now, okay, I will upload the information on the project. Okay, so basically you have your team already, you have your group. What you need to do now is that to have to get some idea lah, to discuss with among your team members what are the project. Okay, for your project lah, what are the software development project. Okay, so I believe if you are a group of 5, possibly from previous course you have experience in different topic or different title or different project development. Okay, so now it's time you have to discuss and only one lah. Okay, select one project for this software project management class. Okay, from there and then later you go through the documentation on the group project description. I will explain on that on next week lah, on our class on Monday. Okay, so it's already a bit late lah actually, sorry for that. Okay, I will upload later. After this I will upload. If you have anything during when you do the reading on that, you may ask me lah. Okay, alright, so
Doktor,
yes.
doktor, ada orang baru nak masuk.
Asik lah. I pun tak ni. Batteries. Okay. So for now, let's see. Dah habis dah. Oh, nak masuk? Abinesh, where have you been, Abinesh? Oh, masuk. Okay, if you have anything, ask your friend lah, or ask me later. Siapa ni? 29 je hari ni. Ada yang tak datang ni. Can I call your name now? Right. Maharas? Maharas? Ada?
Yes, Prof.
Huh?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Wasik?
Yes,
Wasik?
doctor.
Any question for me?
No, doctor.
Maleha?
Yes, doctor.
Rani?
Yes, doctor.
Liu Wei? Liu? Abiche? Abiche? Sohiduzaman? Shakir?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Muaj?
Yes, doctor, I'm here.
Okay. Aina? Aina?
Ada, doktor. Ada.
Faris? Muhammad Faris? Ya, Muhammad Taufik?
Ada.
Abinesh? Baru masuk.
Sorry doktor, tadi ada network problem. Tadi cuba.
Alamak, sebenarnya. Okay, anything you can ask your friend, ah? I'm covering on the costing.
Oh, sure doktor. Thank
So
you.
how frequent you have your network problem? Selalu ke?
Tak, baru je. Selalu tak ada. Selalu
Ya.
tak ada.
Abinesh kat mana sekarang?
Perak, rumah, Teluk Intan.
Rumah?
Ah.
Kat mana?
Kat Teluk Intan.
Sekali
Teluk
lagi?
Intan.
Teluk Intan.
Ah.
Syazwani?
Ada.
Okay. Fahim Adli?
Ada.
Syarul? Pengurusan. Siti Aisyah, Nakilah, Akilah, Syafika? Syafika?
Ada doktor.
Tuan Sharifah?
Ada.
Muhammad Hanif?
Ada doktor.
Khairi? Muhammad Khairi?
Ada doktor.
Nurul Fatihah?
Ada.
Hasan?
Ada.
Anis?
Yes doktor.
Alif? Zuhairi?
Hai doktor.
Okay. Nur Hazimah?
Ada.
Muhammad Faiz?
Ada doktor.
Okay. Francisco? Francis? Ada. Lin Jiayin? Lin? Ada kan? Lin.
Yes doktor.
Okay. Abdullah Abdul Wahab? Shadman, are you there?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Anything to ask me? You have any question? Okay. Zhang Zirwi? Zhang? Ada. Abdullah Abdul Wahab? Ada. Obice? Yue ni memang tak ada lah. Maybe I should check the latest latest list in the SMP. Okay. So, ada soalan lain? Class?
Ada. No.
No question doktor.
Okay, I give you the question on Friday, your assignment. Okay, so
Bye doktor.
that's all for now. If you have anything, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Doktor breakfast apa?
Breakfast? Ha? Apa dia? Saya breakfast. Apa?
Doktor breakfast apa?
Belum baru minum Nescafe panas.
Oh iya ke?
Ada roti sebelah saya tapi belum makan. Tak sempat. Ha?
Saya tak ada soalan yang tanya tu yang tanya.
Itu soalannya. Allah bagusnya. Okay. Okay, lepas ni kita breakfast sama-sama. Don't forget don't skip your breakfast ya. Okay, makan je apa-apa sikit dulu kalau yang ada kelas pukul 10. Jangan biarkan perut kosong.
Baik doktor.
Zirwi, are you there? Oh, nampak Zirwi. Zang Zirwi, are you there? Nampak macam mana tadi? Okay. Possibly there's mic problem ke. Zirwi, are you there? Okay. Sebab I nampak dia tadi. Tapi tak menyahut ni.
Tidur lena sangat. Tidur lena sangat.
Sama je lah. Itulah. Kan nak panggil dengan breakfast. Okay. Okay lah. Pukul 10 dah kan? Okay. So that's all for now. Bye-bye. See you on Monday.
Thank you doktor.
Bye doktor, thank you.
Take care.